Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? I'm Steve Smith. For anybody who doesn't know any of the new people coming by, I should welcome all the new people. We're having a whole bunch of new folks join us, both on the YouTube channel and on the Patreon channel, so it's great to have you all here. I should say a couple of things about the channel so you'll kind of understand what we're about. We're not just a YouTube channel to where I come on and try to scare the willies out of you every day with what the latest threat of the day is. We're really a community. And I'm going to say a couple of things about, one of our community members here in just a minute. But we are a community. I look forward to getting on here and talking to you all every day. I know there are so many people, so many of our subscribers, both YouTube and Patreon, who look forward to these videos. And if you look at the comments under any of the videos, you'll see what that community really is. I always claim to have the smartest commenters in YouTube land, and it even gets better over on Patreon. If you read the comments, I think you'll agree that that's true. So because we are a community, occasionally I have somebody come on and say, you get to the point. You talk for 3, 4, 5 minutes about other stuff before you got to the point. Well, we are a community. Think about going to church. You don't sit down and the preacher comes out and tells you how not to go to hell right away and then says goodbye. We have some announcements. We have some things going on. You don't visit a friend and just immediately say, I came here because, okay. We're like that. So if that's not for you, there are plenty of other channels out there that are for you. If that is for you, welcome. I think you're going to enjoy us quite a bit. I want to start this off. We're going to be talking today about what's going to kill most preppers. And I don't think that enough people think enough about it, if at all, to be honest. But that's what I'm going to talk about. To begin with, by the way, over on the Stone Mount, if you're not with us on the Stone Mount channel, and the link is down below, I really suggest you come over and join us. It's where I put a lot more content than I do on YouTube. The first 4, the big surprises for the Stone Mount level people, the first 4 parts of my reading, the Audible of the Reversion, is now up on the Stone Mount level of the Patreon channel. I've had people ask me for years, when are you going to do an Audible? I finally decided to do it myself. And so the first, I just put up parts 3 and 4 today of, well, that's not the Reversion. I reached in there and I got the wrong one of the Reversion, my first book. So it's up over there. For those of you who want to know what we're talking about, these and all of my videos are brought to you by the Stone Mount series, my series of books, available on Amazon or through our website, stonemount.us. They're down below. And finally, I've started. So the first 4 parts now are available on the at the Stone Mount level, which is the second level of the Patreon channel. I'm actually enjoying it. I think I'm getting better, but I'm actually enjoying this. And I think I'm going to enjoy it even more. I'll be honest with you, there's a lot as I read through this stuff again that I've forgotten. And there's probably some of you that could remind me of stuff. We have people out there who have read through the whole series 5 times, and probably some of you could remind me of some things. There's another special surprise for Stone Mounters. I'm not quite ready to announce that, but another special for you to look forward to very, very shortly. I want to start this. Before we get to that, one of our subscribers, Ghost McGruff, a canine officer, doesn't matter what department, he sent me a couple of patches some time ago. I have a lot of law enforcement people send me their department patches, and I'm getting ready to mount those on a board because I'm getting ready to get into a new area and put stuff up behind the walls for the videos. But he sent me well, he left a comment, and he said that his longtime canine partner, Reese, had recently passed from a brief illness, and wanted to let me know about that and asked for prayers. And as always happens, our community jumped right in and gave him support and prayers. And I told him that of course he had my prayers for that. But I want to say something a little extra with that. Now, I was never a canine officer, but I've known canine officers. And I love my dogs, as many of you do. But a canine officer and his dog are a very special partnership. What we think of as our dogs, multiply it. You know, in the police world, it's common for, and it's commonly said that an officer will develop a closer relationship with their partner, their police partner, oftentimes than with their own spouse. And that's sad, and it's dangerous to the marriage, but it's understandable because you go through life and death situations with your law enforcement partner. And, you have those situations to where you're putting your life on the line for them. They are putting their life on the line for you. You talk about things. I mean, when you're in a squad car with somebody, or you spend 8 hours a day just talking, that's a lot more than most people spend talking with their spouses, because too bad, but it's the truth. Because when you're at home, you're dealing with, they have their issues, you have your issues. The issues are different. You're coming at those issues from different points of view of understanding, or so many times misunderstanding. In the police world, it's different. You and your partner create a bond that is very, very special. And the same holds true for canine officers. You're there with that dog. They are dependent on you for everything. You're dependent on them for so many things. And those dogs become a part of the family. I mean, at the end of watch, you don't say adios to your partner. You take your partner home, right? And your kids play with him, and he or she becomes a part of the family. Protection and just part of the family. So these things are so special. Ghost, I want to again express my heartfelt condolences to you. My prayers for Reese. I know that he's there with some past dogs of mine, and I know I'll have some dogs that'll be joining him sometime in the future. It's a hard thing to deal with, and all of our prayers are with you and Reese. Good for you, Reese. Good for you. Okay, that's a little touching. Some of you may be surprised at that. That kind of touches me. Now let's get to something that can touch us even more than that, and that is what's going to kill most preppers? Let me have a sip from my almost not quite ready Stone Mountain mug. I've had a lot of friends who have lived a lot of dangerous lives. Some of you have too. Some of you have lived them. Some of you have had friends who lived them. Things that were life-threatening, sometimes on a daily basis. And I've had a lot of them die. You know what most of them died from? They didn't die from those dangers that we deal with on a daily basis. They died from accidents, or medical emergencies, illnesses, things like that. Not the things that you would expect, right? Not the things that you go out in a blaze of glory. Not the things that you get your name and your badge on a plaque on a wall. Mainly from illnesses, and very oftentimes illnesses that were brought upon by lifestyle choices. Okay, right? I had a friend of mine, and you've heard me talk about him before, the biggest surprise that could have possibly been, Jim Harrison, lived a life, everything he did was life-threatening. And all of a sudden I get a message he had passed, and I said, what in the world happened? An intestinal blockage, okay, that he had ignored, let it go on too fast, was too tough, bore the pain for too long. By the time they got him to the ER, there was nothing they could do, and he had passed by the next morning. You know, Joe Fox over at Viking Preparedness has always said that he says the two most dangerous things are people in SHTF are people behaving badly and starvation. And I will agree with that, but I add a couple, and I add accidents and illness, both of which come to a medical emergency, because in the case of accidents, it's a medical emergency that, you know, you're either able to deal with or not. In the case of illness, it's the same. The things that I've had more people die from, of my friends, lung cancer from smoking, right? Colon cancer for bad diets, more colon cancer, all sorts of things from obesity, from eating too much, from being overfat, for body systems shutting down as the result of improper diet, not enough exercise. All of these, I know it's not exciting, it's life-threatening. So let me make that point again. If anybody said, gee, I was hoping for something more exciting, let me ask you, what's more exciting than something that's life-threatening? Okay? And these things become life-threatening issues as a result of daily abuse of our bodies, not treating them right. You know, I know guys that will spend hours cleaning their guns, right? Making sure that they've got the ultimate ammo that they're carrying in those weapons. They pay no attention to what they're putting in their bodies. They don't clean their bodies out. I know, they take showers, right? But they don't clean their bodies out. They don't pay attention to the fuel they're giving their body. If they have aches and pains, they ignore them because they're tough. And women too. Women have a tendency to pay better attention to this than guys do. It's a problem that and I know some women who are hard-headed and don't, you know, pay attention like they should. But women are usually better at this. Guys aren't. And just like most of the people who I have known who have died, died from environmental factors, meaning overeating, eating the wrong stuff, not paying attention, taking stuff into your body you shouldn't, drinking too much, not exercising, excusing that extra 100 pounds because, well, I'm just a big boy and I need, you know, and that's usually facilitated by family members say, well, you know, Bob, he's just big. He's a big man. He needs food. Well, Bob's a big man because he ate too much food. Didn't exercise enough. Well, you know, yeah, he's big, but underneath that, there's a lot of muscle. No, there's not. There's not. You know, people are surprisingly the same. When you take off most of the fat, I mean, you know, except for bodybuilders and power lifters, or somebody, when you take off all the fat, people are amazingly the same size. Okay? Some is well-developed active muscle and some is not. So, you know, these people kill themselves on a daily basis. It's a slow suicide. It is a slow suicide. Simply, it's a passive suicide. And I hadn't thought about that term before, but that just came to mind, and I think that's true. That people are currently, now see, what I was talking about, what will kill most preppers? Here's the deal. it won't only kill them after an SHT event, it will kill them before. Most preppers, just like most people, will never live long enough to die from anything violent. I was just reading the second chapter of the Reversion today over there on the Patreon channel, and I talked about some violent deaths. And I talk about violent deaths in a lot of my books. I don't talk a lot about the passive suicide because, pretty much after SHTF, it's going to be the great equalizer. You won't be able to eat too much. You won't be able to drink too much, smoke too much. You will be pretty much forced to involve yourself in enough strenuous activity that you'll start getting yourself back into shape probably. There's going to be a lot of obese people that go into SHTF obese and start to become not obese because of environmental factors that will force it. But are you going to make it to that SHTF that you're preparing so hard for? I'm not thinking about anybody here particularly, So if I say you, it's just the generic you. Most aren't. Most put a lot of time and money and effort and thought into all the doodads and goo guys that come along with preparedness as they think about it, and very little into making this amazing machine that God gave you work at its optimum. I've talked a little bit about how much I believe in the carnivore diet, how when I went on it, and you do it or not, it's up to you. Look into it yourself. Don't take my word for it. Look into it yourself. And how I was starting to crank out the push-ups again like I used to. And I never let myself get horribly out. I let myself get out of shape, I'll be honest with you. I did. I worked a corporate job for too long. I sat in an office. I wasn't out there pounding like I should have. I wasn't working out. I wasn't running. And so, I know exactly what it is. But I'm back at it now, and at almost 70 years old, I'm cranking stuff out like I used to and feel great. You can too. And whether this is for you or somebody feel free to this. I have people ask me, can I share your videos? You bet. You can share every one of my videos except the ones on the Stonemont level of the Patreon channel. Those do not, because that's a subscription service and it's a higher level. So please don't do that. That's my work. Okay, that's my books. That's how I make my living. Okay, so thank you for that. But yeah, you can share this with anybody. But more important than sharing it is think about it yourself. What will kill most preppers? It's not going to be the marauders. It's not going to be, whatever you may think. It's not going to be the invading Chinese or Russian troops coming into town. No. If that stuff ever happens, most preppers won't last that long to find it, because they will be dying of diet-induced and non-exercise-induced illnesses that could have, for the most part, in almost all cases, not all, but almost, that could have been prevented. Now, when it comes to injuries, that's different, okay? And whether it's a traumatic injury, a chronic, a debilitating injury, I'm not talking about that. But in this world, those things might kill you after SHTF if you don't have enough, proper medical care. But in today's world, they shouldn't have that big an effect. So, the first step on this is to how not to die by these things is taking a good hard look at yourself, increasing your self-control, increasing those push-aways, pushing away from the table, Increasing the get-ups, that means get up out of your chair and go do some work, go do some walking, some jogging, some running, some working, some squatting, some whatever. And you are going to not only improve your life right now, but you are going to improve your chances of surviving well after any kind of SHTF situation. And why don't most people do that? You know why. I know why. We all know why most people won't do that. Because it's hard, right? It's more difficult. It's not as easy as going off and buying something else, right? So that's what's going to kill most preppers, guys. That's what's going to kill most preppers. It's going to be environmental. It's going to be self-induced. It's going to be medical problems that come about as a result of passive suicide, of not paying attention, not taking care of your body. Throw in there your mind too. And don't forget the spiritual aspect. Those are important. But take care of that body. It's the one God gave you. It's the only one you're ever going to have. He expects you to treat it well, handle it properly. It's the most beautiful piece of equipment you could ever have. Why would you not take the very best care of it you can? Okay, remember to join us on Patreon over there. The Audible book is being put up in segments over there, read by me. And for my books, this is all of my videos are brought to you by the Stonemont series. My books, The Reversion, The Revival, The Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, The Blessings of Freedom, Hostages to Fortune. I'm going to get off here and start writing the seventh one. I'm about halfway through. And they're available on Amazon, links down below, or through our website, stonemont.us. Stonemont.us. That's the way you can get them from me autographed, and I love to do that. I got to autograph some today and get them in the mail, and I love doing that. There's a place on there if you order them from me. There's a place that says, would you like Steve to write something? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Nancy has given me the nickname Stone. I'm going to talk about that more later because I think that was funny. I'm going to talk about that. I'll let you in on that little joke. But as Steve, what would you like Steve to write in your book? And I'm happy to do it. Love to do it. That link is also down below. So remember that, guys. It's not going to be the dramatic that kills most people. It's going to be the mundane, the things that we don't pay attention to. It's the little things. I always say that life happens in the cracks. It's not the big things that we've got our eyes on. It's the little things that we don't. So take care of yourself. If you're not as healthy as you ought to be, find out what you can do to improve that. There's a lot you can do without a doctor. Now, I'm not saying don't go to a doctor if you need a doctor. If you do, while we got the medical world up and running now, use it. They can do things that natural remedies can't. But take responsibility for your own health, your own fitness, your own life, your own beautiful machine that God gave you. He doesn't take it kindly, I doubt. I can't speak for God. I doubt he takes it kindly when he abuses this beautiful thing he's given us, right? Okay. You all have a great day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.